I'm here in Miami, Florida, visiting Osaka Nikkei. If you haven't heard of Osaka, it's an amazing concept where they take the flavors of Peru and Japan and put them together. They actually started the concept of Nikkei, which is that exact same fusion. Now, Osaka started off as a 3-table restaurant. Now they have 8 locations around the world, including Miami. They're opening one in Madrid, in Chicago, in Dubai. They're absolutely blowing up, and they're the epitome of luxury. When you go into one, it blows Nobu out of the water. So how do they do it? Well, first of all, they focus heavily on guest experience. They have some of the amazing food. They've been in the top 50 for Forbes, and they've won numerous accolades. And now they're going to make sure they have the best experience possible. They want to go from a 9 to a 10, which most 95% of restaurants never do. And they're doing it by developing their experience. And we're here training their team. I want to show you how we're going to do it, so check it out. Your attitude defines you. Does anybody here want to work with someone with a bad attitude? We all want to work with people with good attitudes. I guarantee you, if I asked you guys, you can point someone now in this room where you're like, if this person's working, I'm in the best mood. If this person's working, oh man, this is going to be awesome. And then you got to point at those people where you go walk in the room and you go, oh no, that person's working. So that's a difference, guys. Your attitude defines you. And everybody in this room has a reason, I guarantee you, to have a bad attitude. They have a reason to have a low attitude, right? And everyone has stuff going on. But everyone wants to say, well, my stuff's worse. My stuff's harder. They don't have it like me. They don't understand. That's you blaming someone else, right? All of a sudden you're negotiating again. So that's why your attitude is important when you walk in, guys. You know why? Because it's not about you. Unconditional. Because guess what? I have to work with other people. I have to serve other people. And no one in that situation is going to be like, you know what? If you're having a bad day, it's okay. Come in and take it out on me. Make me suffer a little bit because you're having a bad day. No, it's, hey, I have responsibility. I took this job and I'm walking in with other people, I'm serving other people, and I have a responsibility to make sure that I'm not taking it out on them. I'm not taking it out on you. And it's simple, guys. We all have our mindset, right? Pretend this little ball is your mindset. With your mindset, most people are just focused on the output. And what that means is something happens to you that day. You get into a fight with your significant other. You got a shift you didn't want. It's starting to rain, you weren't prepared for it. You got a flat tire. Now your mindset's all messed up. And you walk into work just like that. I'm not going to even think about it. Boom, now I'm in work with this mindset. Ready to go off on people or a guest or just be rude or be short or be less pleasant. What we want to focus on is the input of your mindset, guys. That means take 10 minutes when you come into work and stop and think. Is anything bothering me? Is there anything going on? What am I upset about if I'm upset about anything? Take 10 minutes and say, okay, I'm upset about that parking ticket. Let me just remember that I'm walking into work with people that trust me. I'm going to be serving people, people that hired me let me serve. I have a responsibility here. I'm going to make sure my mindset's right. That problem will be ready for me when I leave the door. So focusing on those little things matter. It will become a superpower to you if you honestly do this every single day. If you make that commitment to yourself and to the people around you that you have responsibility for. Selfless hospitality. By nature, hospitality is selfless. When I have family come over and I make them comfortable and I give them things like drinks and food, I just want them to enjoy themselves. I don't need anything else. I'm not expecting anything else. That's hospitality. Hospitality by nature is selfless. The power of unconditional hospitality. So I told you that story, right? I didn't care about my tips anymore. I didn't care about my sections anymore. I didn't care about me. We're giving without expecting anything in return. That's how you get the most in return. To give without giving anything or expecting anything in return. So when I'm serving a table, I'm not expecting a tip. If they leave a bad tip, it's not going to ruin my day because I'm being unconditionally hospitable. If someone's not acting a certain way, or maybe they're being rude, maybe they snap their fingers, that's not going to affect me. Because I'm here to give unconditional hospitality, not judge you on how you're acting in that seat. That's not my job. My job is to give unconditional hospitality, period. That's what I'm focused on. That's what I'm dedicated to. And we're going to get into how that goes even deeper. But if you start judging people and saying, I'm going to perform less because someone else is performing less, that's kind of a crazy way to think. Your standard is your standard, guys. I can't stress this enough. You have to understand, when you walk in the door, ask yourself, where's your standard on a scale of 1 to 10? You have to know when you walk in the door, my standard's a 10. Now, let's see who's going to challenge it. And let me show the world that they're not going to lower it. You're not lowering my standard. I dare a guest to come in with a bad attitude. They're not lowering my standard. I dare one of my coworkers to come in with a bad attitude, rub me the wrong way. They're not going to ruin my standard. I dare my manager to come in and give me some crap. They're not going to lower my standard. No one lowers my standard except for me, if I allow it to be lowered. So it's adversity. That's the hard part. That's the difference. What side do you fall on? Do you crumble in adversity instantly? Well, I'm lowering my standard. Screw that. or you have high standards truly, because that's the difference. When you walk in the room, when you walk through the doors, every single time, you're either raising or lowering the standards. Do you guys agree with that? If you're punctual, you're raising the standard of the business, right? I like to work, my whole thing when I was working at restaurants and I got my stuff together, my whole thing was I want to work at good restaurants with good professionals. That's what I want. I want to work with professionals. If I went somewhere where people weren't professional, they're coming in late, they weren't taking their job serious, they didn't care about the guest experience, or showing up drunk, drinking on the job, I don't want to work there. I'll go elsewhere. And I would seek out other jobs to find professionals to work with because I pride myself in anything I do, okay? So punctuality is huge. We're representing the brand. How? How are we representing the brand? What tool are we using? Ourselves. We're representing ourselves by representing the brand. I'm representing the brand through representing myself. Microdosing hospitality, guys. Anytime you interact with a guest, that's an opportunity to give microdosing hospitality. Anytime you interact with the guest, you have to ask yourself, how am I microdosing hospitality here? What am I doing to microdose hospitality? But if someone says, bye, have a good day, you're like, yeah, have a good one. Now it's coming authentic. I'm keeping eye contact. Those little tiny things matter. And she probably didn't even know she was doing that. I'm sure it wasn't by design. It's because she was being authentic. When you come in, do something different. Maybe do something more. Go above and beyond. How can I figure out ways to go above and beyond? Learn new things. Grow, though. Do something different, whatever it is. There's different ways to raise the standard. But I'll tell you what you can do. If there's a system, follow it. If there's a request, follow it. If your manager gives you constructive criticism, follow it. If they're coaching you, listen. Right? You don't know best. If anybody's in this room saying, I know best for my position, I have mastered my position, you're sadly mistaken. No one in this room has mastered their positions. Otherwise, I'm like, show me the reviews with your names on it. Give me the 100 reviews. Show me right now. But we all can learn something new, including myself. Everyone can learn something new, and everyone can grow in their position. If you ever have that mentality of I've mastered something and no one can teach me anything, that is the most detrimental way to think that you can imagine, because you're limiting yourself to your own thought process. It doesn't get any weaker than that. I guarantee you, billionaires. Jeff Bezos probably has a coach that trains him something new, right? He wants to learn. He wants to grow. Everybody wants to learn and grow. You cannot limit yourself. The importance of teamwork. Do you guys think we could get to our goal without teamwork? Anybody in here? We need teamwork. Unconditional teamwork. That means I'm here to be unconditionally hospitable to my staff, to my coworkers. And my standards are up here, guys. My standards are up here. So that means I'm going to be the best coworker. I'm going to be the best employee. I'm going to be the best server. I'm going to be the best at what I do, period, because I have high standards. Unless I want to negotiate with myself. Maybe I don't have high standards. But if I do, I'm going to be the best no matter what. Unconditionally, no one's touching that. You acting differently or you acting the way I don't want you to act is not going to lower my standards. I'm going to keep those up. So teamwork is so important, guys. It should be when you walk in those doors, the first question you should ask yourself is, how can I help? How can I help make their job better, their job easier? This person over here never makes my job easier. She makes my job harder. She's always lazy, coming in late, leaving early. They told me about you. And telling me all about that. They told me all about that. So I'm not going to be a good coworker to her, but I'll be a good coworker to you because I like you. That's not how it works. That's not how standards work. Now you're negotiating, right? She gave you a reason to lower your standards in your head, right? Or you know what? It doesn't matter how you act because I have standards and I'm here to be unconditionally hospitable. So I'm going to hit that no matter what. Doesn't matter how you act. It's about how I act. When it comes to standards, it's about me and my performance and what I do. Again, am I negotiating? I don't know. So you have to ask yourself when you walk in the door, who am I going to help? When I see my section, how can I help them out? Server assistants. If I'm a server, how do I help out my server assistants tonight and make their job easier? If I'm a server assistant, how do I help out the bartenders to make their job easier? How do I help out the cooks, the chefs to make their job easier? Right? That's how you want to think. But if you walk in going, this person's working, I'm not going to do this, there's only this many covers, this is BS, why do we have this many servers on tonight? Lowering the standards right away. Starting to give yourself, pride and ego is giving you excuses of why you should do it.
Rule number one, what you model as a leader, you give your team permission to do. You say, don't swear, don't do this, don't do that, and you do it as a leader, they'll be like, well, it's fine, I'm doing that. What you model as a leader, you give your team permission to do. That's the fundamental truth, and you can't get away from it. So if you're modeling anxiety, stress, anger, chaos, whatever, you're going to be that beacon in the storm. You're not going to be that beacon. And so there are a lot of definitions of what a leader does. You're the calm in the storm. You're developing people, all right? You all have a vision as leaders, and you drive towards that vision. And that vision is giving the guest the best experience possible.
And then we have to be inspirational. So are we leading? Are we leading the team? Or are we just there as managers? Are you manager or are you leader? That's the difference, right? Because a manager manages. I can swipe cards. I can discount things. I can help you out. I can make sure people come in on time. I can make sure the cash gets dropped the proper way. I can do all that stuff. But a leader leads. That means when someone walks in, they know that you're going to take care of the place. They know that you're going to run the show. They can trust you. They know that you're going to hold people accountable. They know that you're watching. And they know that you're going to be the shining example, right? You're the shining example of what we do. So high-level systems is what's going to be next. So what are the systems, right? What are the systems that we have in place to make sure that they're going to be able to do their job, to give the guests the best experience possible? But more importantly, what are the systems that we put in place to make sure that we're holding them or following up, like you said, and then holding people accountable? That's so important. We have to follow up. If I create a system, which is basically a rule, a process, if I create that, but I don't have any follow-up, I don't follow up with them, it becomes a request. I'm just asking you to do it. Please do that. And if you don't, well, whatever. I'm not following up. No one's watching. If you're requesting them to do things, they're not going to do it. They're going to do whatever's easiest for their job. They're going to do whatever they prefer. And that's when it becomes a wild, wild west. That's when you leave, all of a sudden it's just like people are doing what they want.